iRacing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson! Anderson's up to him!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get involved!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Yeah, so we're using the VRS Direct Force Pro this year. We have a wheel adapter right here, so I'm using the rim I used last year. But the motor right here produces a lot of power, a lot of precision, and it helps me, just feel the car more, feel the car a lot quicker. Especially, this week we're at Sonoma. I can feel it, when it hits the curbs. Any little change in the car, the wheel reacts a lot quicker than your typical gear-driven or belt-driven wheel. For example, if you're on oval and the rear tires break loose, force feedback on it corrects a lot quicker than your typical wheels. There's no resistance pretty much as far as being able to make quick corrections on the wheel. So all that, paired with how precise the wheel itself is, it makes it to where it helps you as a driver, to find that extra hundredth or thousandths of a second. So when you're getting a direct drive wheel, especially the VRS wheel, it's heavy duty. It's got good weight to it, it's not a plastic toy. Feels like you can really beat up on it. A lot of people have issues with their plastic gear-driven wheels just kind of breaking after a couple years. This thing just feels like it can go forever. The forces are really strong where if you might have to let go of the wheel if you get into the wall. You can adjust all that with the settings on it and stuff, but the wheel itself doesn't play around. It's got way more strength than you could ever need, and that's what makes it good, that you can adjust that down to whatever the car needs. So initially you'll be able to get the controller box and the motor together, and eventually you will be able to add a rim onto that option. They'll also be including a button plate on it to put on the rim to have all sorts of different buttons and functionality. Also, pedals are coming, so that's a pretty big deal as well. Hasn't been covered too much, but the goal is to also have pedals to go along with the Direct Force Pro. So that's pretty exciting. The wheel feels good. It feels very much like a real world steering wheel. You just kind of feel like what you would imagine the car to feel like. A real steering wheel in a car is very smooth, it's very direct, very quick, and that's what this wheel feels like.
The halfway stage here of your iRacing Grand Prix Series. Yes, it doesn't have a Max Verstappen or 100,000 clicks or anything of that sort of variety, but what it does have is important battles for championship implications. It is one where we have seen a new standard come up to the top of this series, and we have consistently seen some great sim racing over and over again. You want tactical battles, which gets itself done in an hour? We can get it done right here. You don't need to wait through the entirety of the night into the next day to make sure that you know what's going on. Welcome to the conversation here with SimSpeed TV. I'm Jake Sperry, joined alongside, as ever, with Jay Kennedy, bringing ourselves to this wonderful Nurburgring circuit. And you could say, some would say, actually, at this point, Jay, the spiritual home of sim racing with that of Sim Racing Expo.
Yeah, it's an amazing circuit. As you say, yeah, spiritual home of sim racing with the Sim Racing Expo hosted here. The fantastic track and a fantastic facility as well. Not only the circuit, but everything off the circuit, as well as the other things around as well, including that green hell just off in the background. An amazing place, and looking forward to seeing how we go here in iRacing Grand Prix Series today. Last time we were here, we had some fantastic battles. We're sure to see them again.
We certainly are. I'm just taking an eye here and seeing exactly what went wrong last week for Matt Wood. He dropped himself 50 points, 222 to 172, and all of a sudden, when you look at the championship standings right now, as things bring themselves into a level of play at this moment in time. 1 point's difference between Wood and Martinez after their earlier split race in the week. It is Jorge Martinez on top of the championship standings, but not by much, which is the key. And that not by much is 22 points as things stand. Bartosic is in third position, and then it's pretty much a barren wasteland. Anything after that in terms of the points. There is Matt Wood out there on track right now, looking to get his first lap on the board, making this run up through Ad Van Bogen and over, of course, to that very, very difficult Vidal chicane, and then finally that Hyundai N-curve to end the lap.
See what the first times are coming in. First times are around the 1 minute 28. Very, very early start-finish line here, or finish line, I should say. Does catch a few drivers off guard with how close it is to the exit of the final corner. 27.7 for Matt Wood does put him in P1.
Does the job that is needed, and P1 is exactly where he needs to put the pressure on. Adam Gleeson just a tenth back then in second position. There is Jorge Martinez looking to try and get some consolidation down on the board after a very strong Silverstone last week, as I couldn't quite be there, but I made sure to keep an eye out on it. But a 28.5 only. Oh, dear me. Jorge. That is only good enough for fifth position with that one, and a lot more will be needed as Renato Augusto jumps up. That was not the time. That was very much needed. That's a spin for Anton Skirichenko there in the faux Red Bull, and that will ultimately end that lap in earnest, as Klaus Siemens, who is, I would say, probably the biggest hot and cold driver of this grid, is at the moment white hot in fourth place.
Yeah, very nice lap. He's just improved again. That'll put him up into P3. Very, very nice lap from Siemens. And you're right, very, very hot and cold. When he's hot, he's well and truly hot. Very, very brilliant driver. So fingers crossed we see the in-form run for Siemens tonight.
And that we will. Dylan Roberts then piloting a faux Renault over towards the line, and that one doing not very much. The very good driver of Yuri Bioja will be looking for a solid run all over that curb, skating like he is Tony Hawk, who was out there in Tokyo right now. He did a vert just before his first return to the X Games in about 18 years. He crossed the line, not bad. Martinez, though, 28.2 only. That's good enough for fifth place. And I'd have to say, that is a little disappointing at this point in time for Martinez.
Half a second off, not what he would have wanted as Augusto. Nice lap from him. He'll go to fifth. Martinez drops back to sixth. John-Pat Kelly about to do his first flying lap. We've also got still to come Bartosic, which will be the next driver across the line. John-Pat Kelly goes P10. Nice lap from him.
Bartosic has another lap if he needs it, and that's a great lap to start. It's a 27.888, and he needs to find 2/10 to get to Matt Wood. But we know Bartosic is still there in the championship. He won't get another lap in. He's just spun it as Carlos Coutal will come over the line. 29.6 there, so a little bit of improvement there. Goes 13th fastest overall in the number 21. Adam Gleeson is out there in the TQ car at this point in time. He's got one final lap to get it done. Also out there, John-Pat Kelly and Anton Skirichenko there in the number 17. So at least for the moment, they'll be certainly searching for some good times out there. It's nice to see TQ having more than one driver out there. Gleeson pulls it off to the side. His qualifying is very much done, as is Skirichenko's, which means it's all down John-Pat Kelly. I was saying there, Jake, it's nice to see TQ with more than one car out there. We haven't seen that since Ben Fuller was racing. Yeah,
it's great to see a good turnout for the team. It's always nice to see multiple drivers from this team, and a slightly different look as well, an updated look for the team. It looks very, very nice.
I think it does as well. I think it looks a million times better than what they had before. It looks so crisp and fresh as they make that drive over towards the line. John-Pat Kelly, 29.2. That is good enough then for the sixth row of the grid. Everyone then is done in qualifying. We can take ourselves over towards the starting grid then here at the Nurburgring Grand Prix Strecke and get a little bit of an idea on just where everyone will stack up. Matt Wood then will take pole position, a 27.628, good enough by just over 0.2 of a second from Adam Gleeson, making it an all UK and Ireland front row, with Thomas Bartosic in third and Dennis Branch in fourth for the Blue Flag Racing Team, making it an all-American second row of the grid. Klaus Siemitz lines up in fifth position with Reynaldo Augusto there in P number 6. Seventh then on the grid will go to Jorge Martinez, and that is a real shock for the Spaniard, with Adam Webb alongside in 8th place. Dylan Roberts then will qualify the car in 9th position. He is a Canadian, with Hiroyuki Sekaguchi rounding out then the top 10. John Pat Kelly starts 11th alongside Yuri Bioja in 12th position. Then it's Carlos Tau there in what is 23rd position, on 13th position on the grid. I was reading the wrong number, from Club Iberia, with Philip Yates there in 14th. Then you got Valentin Milanovici and Anthony Catt, Anish Mehta, and then Jake Broom in the number 24 car, also from Club Canada. Emilio Fernandez Garrido is in 19th, with 20th going to Stefan Schweiger there from Club Diach. Jason McPherson is a little bit down the order, but you've got Santi Zerpa, Esteves and Oliveira, the Brazilian, Jay Friels, Liam Sheen, not setting times. Everyone else now sought by iRating, with Skirichenko, Huffman, McSparren, and Knoppel there, making up 28 then. Few drivers going to the medium compound tyre here today. Not necessarily a surprise, but you look at track conditions at 20 degrees, then that may be just a case of that will go a little bit further. It's 40 laps worth of action, and they know that it is a very treacherous run to turn number 1. It fans out wide this straight, but it does bottleneck in to that first right of the Mercedes-Benz Arena. This is such a high downforce circuit. Expect overtaking to be difficult here today. Expect this start to be probably the most important part of this race. And on top of that, you've got that one pit stop that comes into mind. So we are getting ourselves ready. Lights then will soon come on here from the Nurburgring. And when they do, we will be able to get ourselves off to racing action. 2 minutes then have been put on the clock, so we are starting with or without you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ourselves then into play. Nurburgring, round 6 of your iRacing Grand Prix Series is go. And what a great start it was from Adam Gleeson off the front for TQ. Bartosic trying to have a little look as well, trying to look for a run here as they go into turn 1. Siemitz incredibly deep. He's gone far too deep into turn number 1. Martinez is also going to go off the road then as they go through. Gleeson trying to go around the outside through 2. We'll have to try and do so again at 3. Wood has got this covered off for the moment, but it looks like it is going to be all nicely plain sailing. No real amazing dramas to speak of then in the early goings. All of the drivers have got themselves through, all 28. Liam Sheen a little bit further back, he started from the pits.
Yeah, great to see that we've actually got through fairly clean. I mean, other than Klaus Siemitz having that horrible jump and running well and truly off the circuit, we've got through clean. And not a great launch for Martinez. I thought he might have done a little bit better than that, but Adam Webb, best start out of our front few. He gained a couple of spots, although Martinez has just gone past Webb.
On the run to the Schumacher S as well. That's a brave place to get something done, but Martinez is not messing around. He knows what he's got to do, and he's got to gain places P, D, and Q. And I tell you what, if you took the race spot logo off the back of this car, you'd have 0.2 extra pace, because we all know how logos work here in sim racing as we go on through. But at least for the moment, it's going to be a nice plain sailing start as they all charge through. It might not even be that, but at least for the moment, it is Matt Wood who is out there in control at the front of this field feeling good about this. Look at Katao and this is going to get awkward here. John Pat Kelly in the mix. They're almost 3 wide through the final corner as the Faux Williams looks to try and get by, and it is getting pretty difficult right now. Slow down for John Pat Kelly doesn't help things either. As they hit the brakes, they go into turn 1. So many drivers getting it wrong. There's someone in the fence.
Yeah, Jake Broom in the fence. He is out of this race. We'll see if we can pick up exactly what happened to him.
Complete miss of the braking point into turn number 1. It's cold conditions, so it's going to be tough to slow the car down. But you can see, gets all of this draft, right, on this straight, and he just forgets where his braking point is. You can see he jams on the brakes, has to go sailing into the corner, And you're not going to save yourself from that. I wholeheartedly concur. Back, though, to live coverage here at the Nurburgring. There are your leading two, Matt Wood, Adam Gleeson. No DRS yet for Adam Gleeson. He's got to wait till the third lap of the race to get that, but he is well within range as he hits the brakes and goes into that left-right chicane there of Vidal, making that run up to the Hyundai N-curve, then to finish off the lap. Top three looking pretty solid at the moment. Dennis Branch there in fourth, Augusto fifth, Martinez there in the sixth position at this moment in time for the Mag Performance team. And it is Mag Performance on the back, I have just double checked. And is now going to be a very interesting top six over the course of this race, because you've got to keep in mind all about progress. You've got to keep putting on the pressure as they go. That's trouble there for Anish Mehta coming out of the final corner down in 26th position. Catch this on the virtual racing score replay. Doesn't look like that was the best in the world. It looks like a slowdown penalty just before the line.
Very, very unfortunate. Look how many positions he's lost. 1, 2, about 6, 7, 8 positions? He must have had a slowdown from a long way back too, because he had to give up so many spots and he was on the brakes so hard.
Yeah, you have to remember as well here, Jay, that a slowdown penalty on lap 2 is the worst place ever, because you have your out lap, effectively, your start from standing as your gauge for a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, the only lap worse than getting one on lap 2 is on lap 1, so you never want to get a slowdown at the best of times, but getting them very, very early in the race, very, very painful. You lose so much ground. Martinez, speaking of gaining ground, Martinez is starting to apply a little bit of pressure to Ronaldo Augusto. That's starting to get a little heated now.
It certainly is. That is one place that a move could potentially be done at this moment in time, as I believe we are not quite at live at this moment in time. As there we are now quite at live, as here's the little look in towards turn number 1. Not going to be quite there at the moment for Martinez, but this is what you get. It's a tough place. A bit of side-by-side. Oh, there's big contact in the background. Sekaguchi turning around Philip Yates, who is pretty much struggling there. The NSR car in all sorts of trouble there. Took a big wide line into the opening corner. Sekaguchi trying to put the nose down the inside, had nowhere to slow it up at.
You always know when you see a car off at the exit of turn 1 with contact from someone else, it is never going to be a good look at this track. And it's such a Nurburgring accident, that one, isn't it? We see it all the time. There's that wide open entry into turn 1 just creates that havoc.
Especially as well as you can brake late and use then the drop down through the mid part of the apex as well to scrub some more speed, or to carry some more speed even. That works. Now we're on board with the championship leader, Jorge Martinez, who is very desperately trying to get back to Augusto. Could definitely do with some points, especially today, mind you, when it's one split, and there are going to be slightly less points available potentially in this one compared to some other weeks. And on top of that, you add in the fact that, you know, you've got to get absolutely everything in. One driver in the pits getting out again is Anish Mehta, but got to give some credit here. Adam Gleeson, despite running slightly wide, is just on the cusp of the second here with Matt Wood.
He's right there, isn't he? He's just holding on to the DRS, and the DRS is probably doing enough of a job to keep him within the second for now. But he might just be about to lose that 1 second advantage. 1 second gap, I should say. See if he can hold on to that 1 second when they come around to the DRS activation point, which is just after the Schumacher S. The first activation point. If he's within that second, he'll probably maintain that second gap for another lap.
Some great battling, by the way, in the mid to late field behind Estevez and Oliveira in the F1 Apps car. You've got John Pat Kelly, Valentin Milanovici has lost a place to John Pat Kelly this lap. You've got René Knopfel there in the really old style of McLaren. It's a West McLaren of all things, so please keep the choice to your health as a choice at that. But that is a little bit weird to see a mid-2000s, early to mid-2000s, and even late 90s McLaren there on a 2015 McLaren, I'd like to say.
I think it's a 2015. I think you're right. Yeah, we often see a lot of retro, realistic liveries put on, but we don't often see that one. It's not something we see too often. We'd usually, if we're seeing one from that era, it's usually been a Ferrari or a Jordan or something like that, as opposed to
a Leighton House.
Leighton House, you're right. We do see that a lot. That's probably a little bit more older.
That's Nim's car.
It is Nim's
That
car.
is Nim's car as well, which is worth keeping in mind. Now here's John Pat Kelly. He's got a really good attempt here on Estevez and Oliveira. Going to move to the inside here to try and pick this one off. And can he get it slowed down on the brakes? He takes that inside line, trying to run the outside with Oliveira, but the medium compound tyre versus the soft did not quite work out as they go through. They've even got a Force India out there on circuit. That is Emilio Fernandez Garrido. Catch this on the virtual racing score replay, because there was a bit of argy-bargy. It was Santi Zerpa there running into the back, and bang, that is not the hit that you want to be making here out there, and that is not what the NWS Esports car would have really wanted.
So when I knew that there was contact, the way that was shaping up, it was almost looking like Fernandez would have been the one that made the contact, but because he was in too hot himself. So very, very bizarre incident, and they've got away with it. Tyre on tyre usually means it was not too bad. When you see tyre on tyre incidents in this series, it's usually not as serious as it could be with wings getting ripped off or suspension getting damaged. If it's wheel on wheel side by side contact, it's usually okay. They can battle on and continue on, as long as they're at fairly low speeds, which that corner is.
Yep, another McLaren. This time it's a 80s McLaren. This is a Prost and Senna McLaren out there. An MP44 design there for Stefan Schweiger out there on track at this point in time. Marquez has one issue with trying to get by Ronaldo Augusto, and it comes in the form of the 5 of Dennis Branch.
Yeah, Augusto just within the DRS range to mean that he can get the momentum down the straight, although that gap now is around about 1 second, so Augusto may not have DRS in this next phase. We'll find out in just a moment. But Marquez is still applying pressure. That's probably the positive that he's got, is that he's still applying pressure. And there are some sectors that he's looking a lot stronger as well, so we'll see if he can close this gap up a little bit more and see if the DRS opens on that car. And Augusto ahead does not. There's a chance for Marquez to close in that gap.
Yeah, definitely the chance is there. Worth noting as well, the tyre strategy differences. We are on lap 7 of 40. We're expecting pit stops around lap 15. Now, look at that front wing. There's damage to the front wing for Jorge Marquez. If he feels he's being a little bit hurt out by that front wing, then he's probably going to take an extra 5 seconds at the stop, because it has been clobbered on the front, probably from when he got his nose chopped off at turn 1. From a very wide running, that was Klaus Siemens. So that's going to be something in the back of the mind that maybe, just maybe, you'd say is not what is wanted for Jorge Marquez. An extra 5 seconds would be a disaster. Those on the mediums, though, keep an eye out on these drivers in this race, as we got side by side Philip Yates down the inside of Catal, trying to hold on, who's also got front wing damage there. Anthony Catt, top of them right now in the Chelsea machine. You've got Jay Friels, you've got David Huffman, Emilio Fernandez Garrido, Estevez and Oliveira, and Anton Skirichenko all have the medium compound tyres. They'll be trying to go to probably about lap 25, 26.
Yeah, most of the guys running mediums will go medium soft, and the guys on softs will go soft or soft medium. We're not going to see a two-stop strategy here. Very, very unlikely that we'll see a two-stop strategy here. We've seen it at other tracks, but the very cool conditions definitely playing into the favour of those running softs. I'm surprised to see as many as we have seen out there in mediums. I would have thought almost everyone would be trying to run softs with the cooler conditions, although as you say, if they can run it out to lap 25 and run medium soft, that may be a better strategy for the entire race over a soft. When some of those guys that are running double softs will have to conserve tyres for maybe 5 laps in each stint.
Yeah, definitely seems the most likely here, as Marquez closest he's ever been. But welcome to Dirty Air Central through the Mercedes-Benz Arena. You've got these 90-degree corners, which are all about carrying that momentum through, especially this right, where you need all of it. That is someone off the road. That's Esteves and Oliveira, who has gone straight on, has taken the endurance-style chicane instead. And that is definitely not a plan as we catch this at this moment in time. Going forward to his teammate, Ronaldo Augusto. Now, Ronaldo is the sort of driver here, Jake, that we've said time and again, really talented, able to use pace really quickly, finds a way somehow to get in trouble.
Yeah, he's a driver that seems to have more bad luck than good, doesn't he? He just always seems to find himself in a little bit of trouble. Can't get himself on the good side of luck. He always finds that he's got bad luck if he has any luck at all. So hopefully he has a bit better of a run this race. Last season, I think almost every round he found himself in trouble, and 95% of that was not his own doing. He just found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it'd be nice for Augusto to have a very strong result. Fingers crossed he does get one as we hit 1/4 race distance.
And what was key there is that Dennis Branch had no DRS. 2 drivers there did. And that indicates that Thomas Bartosic finally has broken a second.
Yeah, Bartosic now to about 1.1 second advantage, so that gap was enough to mean that he might start pulling away a bit further. And the gap between 3rd and 4th now starting to grow.
Now, pass for position has happened. Hiroyuki Sakaguchi has got through on Yuri Bioja, who I think is trying to play the long game on those soft compound tyres. But let's look at the virtual racing school replay for it. You're going to see here, Bioja says pass right, and effectively gives him the entire, I would say, county, or the entire region to go and make that move.
It was a bit strange, wasn't it?
I think he's trying to go soft here, and he's not got confidence in keeping pace.
I think you're right. I'm going to stay on another replay here, Sperry, because this is an incident for Renee. What are we doing here? Is this looped on exit? No. See, he stopped, so something's happened to him just up here. There it is.
Oh,
that's strange.
Power application.
That's an unusual incident, even with it being a power down incident. Still a very unusual one.
Yeah, it's one of those things here when we're on one split here today. You've got drivers who maybe aren't as used to this series as maybe some others, and that can very easily happen if you are not paying attention once upon a blue moon. So that is always something just to keep in mind as racing does continue on. Carlos Cotau also in a bit of trouble. He's just missed the final chicane out there, but we've still got battling going on. In fact, Cotau has dived into the pits then on lap 10. So first taker into the lane as we watch Marquez still trying to get on through these 2 in front.
Yeah, so a couple of pit stops starting to happen. Also seeing some issues for John Pat Kelly as well, possibly connection issues. So fingers crossed he can get them sorted. Because he was on for a very, very good result. And it seems to be another driver that when he's having a great run, he has some sort of bad luck as well.
Yeah, looks like John Pat Kelly's internet, not the first time it's happened here in this series, has just said good night, and that is very much like the engine going boom.
Yeah, we even see in the real world now, computer failure in the middle of a race.
Yeah,
those sort of things happen. We've seen Burnley back. Australian Grand Prix, I reckon it was 2014. We had 2 cars that wouldn't start because they had an issue with the computer program that actually started the cars. So we've had all sorts of bizarre issues that are happening. I mean, just a car off the circuit, they're running wide to let these go through.
Not full. there. So that would be, I've just come out of the pits. I've just come out of the pits in front of the leaders. I want nothing to do with the leader. That would be what happened there. Matt Wood in control of this race still, but I would say hasn't got out too much of a gap as he's wanted to be focused on Dennis Branch. No change in the order for the top 4 positions in this race. The only change is that the likes of Reynaldo Augusto and Jorge Martinez have got through on Klaus Siemitz, who's back there in 10th place. But the key here is that Matt Wood is not a million miles gone. He's only 2.3 seconds clear right now.
Yeah, it's not the biggest gap, is it? I mean, in other races we've seen by this point, whoever's in the lead might have pulled 5, 6, 7 seconds. To see it at only 2.5 is quite mouthwatering, actually, to see such a close gap. That's less than a front wing change. That's less than a lock-up coming into the pit lane. That's less than having to reverse back to your pit box when you miss it. So definitely a mouth-watering little fight here between all of them as Augusto's having issues. Oh, he's lost his rear wing.
They both did. There was contact. There was contact. There's no rear wing. And once again, we threatened it. Reynaldo Augusto getting T-boned from behind by the championship leader.
Oh no. We knew that this was going to be a very, very spicy battle, but this is not how we expected it to play out. That's just a misjudged braking point there for Martinez. I'm sure there was no intention, but he'll be feeling a little sheepish. Unlucky for Augusto. We did say there's a redress position there for Martinez. We did say that Augusto finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm going to stay on the replay
wrong place at the wrong time. Go live, go live, go live. Because they are fighting. Augusto's got no rear wing. Martinez has got no front wing. And trying to find a way through all of this is Adam Webb. And he's somehow managed to get by one, but not the other. Both of those drivers surely have got to come in this lap. They should have come in last lap.
I think they probably were worried about having that slowdown that they would have had to serve before getting in the pits. They were worried that they might have had to carry that through and then have a black flag. So that's probably why they continued on, but you're right. If they could have jumped in the pits, they should have. But Martinez looks like he's struggling more than Augusto is, which is surprising because a rear wing missing should mean that he would nearly be looping it at every corner.
I know, and that will be on iRacing to fix at some point in time. Remind me to talk to Cisco about that at some point. Either way, that is going to be a case of Augusto stays out because he still feels he's got a car that works. Martinez definitely doesn't. Will dive down into the pits just in front of Dylan Robert. So, virtual racing score replay up on screen for you as there is these drivers, and it was coming out then of all of these cars. You can see they were too wide for a little bit here. Martinez struggling with the front, can't get anything working. Augusto tries for the inside here and can't get the move done because Martinez still has the nose on the inside. And now tell you what, where do you go if you squeeze the door like that shut?
It's a messy little proposition, isn't it? And around the outside goes Adam Webb, and I've just seen two on my live time, and we'll go
Webb spun
to another replay.
Oh,
these two are fighting side by side.
Oh, no, not like that. I've just seen it for myself. Here we go then, through turn 4, and you're going to see this.
Oh, no.
Netcode at its finest. That is what happens when you have a connection between United Kingdom and Brazil.
Yep. One of those things that we can't change the speed of light, which means that we've got internet causing issues, but that's unfortunate that it's ended that way. Augusto continues on, but I'm going to say he'll be in the pits this lap. Martinez is back out there. Remember before you said if he was worried about that front wing, he'll probably take the extra time and get that fixed. Well, you're right, just not in the way that you're expecting to be right.
Oh, no, I agree. That's why he's on the mediums right now and not the softs, which is going to hurt even more in this race.
Augusto continued.
Of course he did, because Reynaldo Augusto has only got the rear wing, which is not doing much. There is Anthony Catt, who has got past Bioja, who cannot wait any longer. 15 laps, I called it. That will be a medium tyre that will be going on.
Barry, don't make it sound like you know what you're talking about.
I know, that's the worst thing in the world, isn't it, when I know what I'm talking about? It means that the planets have aligned or something.
Oh, something weird's going on if you know what you're talking about. It's almost as bad as me knowing what I'm talking about.
Oh no, that's only when you get a moon that's blue.
Very true. Very true.
Either way, though, it's going to be a very long day at the office for a lot. The battle's still going on 5th, 6th and 7th. Dylan Roberts said at the beginning of this race that he had no idea how to race this circuit. He just didn't have any pace, but suddenly he does, and Adam Webb and Reynaldo Augusto are behind him, and he's up 4 places for this race. So I'd say that is a job very well done at the moment by Dylan Roberts, who is doing, I'd say, a fantastic job.
Well, his fastest lap that he's done, this is Roberts, puts him, what, 8 out of everyone? So his race pace can't be that bad if he's the 8th fastest car and running in 5th. I'm sure he's had some good luck on his side because he's avoided all those incidents, but he's got himself in the right place at the right time in that faux Renault. I say it does look quite nice, the faux Renault, but he's now up in 4th because Dennis Branch has decided he's had enough of those tyres coming in from 4th position.
Was losing ground as well to Bartosic, so this will be a key. Mediums as well on lap 16, so that's something definitely worth keeping in mind. And for those who like the Renault, it's very much a Renault at this point in time. So excuse me, I will take that one.
Well done, good pun. We love a good pun. Ring the bell.
Yeah, take one, ding ding. But at least for the moment, the Renault is doing a good job at holding off the likes of Adam Webb behind as it continues to be a case of what goes on. Bartosic, meanwhile, has just been quietly working to get to the back of Adam Gleeson. For the first time in a long time, he has done so, which says to me, Adam Gleeson's tyres are metaphorically and literally on their last legs.
And Bartosic has made them last. The last lap by was half a second quicker. The lap before was around about half a second quicker, so he's going to continue on. Now, if this little green light lights up, there you go. 1 green light means DRS is available. 2 green lights means that you can press the button. 4 green lights means that your DRS is open. There's a little bit of info if you're ever wondering what the lights on the wheel mean.
And if you see no lights, it means that the car's off and that you've crashed it. But the move is done, and Bartosic comfortably gets it done, and that is a nice overtake then. And again, the difference, a whole second on that last lap. You can tell Adam Gleeson is just... Oh, Wood's gone around.
Yeah. Wood has had a spin.
Well, it's not a spin, it's a half slide, so he's done well to save it.
He's ruined the tyres is what he's done.
Exactly, it's hyperheated and torched the tyres, so surely Matt Wood's going to come in. He's going to be tiptoeing around this lap.
Yeah. Noticed on new addition to our overlay software over the last little while has been that we can actually keep a track of a driver's current pace out on track in comparison to their last few laps, and I saw that he was 3 seconds off. As soon as I flicked it, he was all smoke, so very, very handy. You wouldn't have noticed that without that little feature of showing pace. Thank you, ATVO.
Yeah, thank you very much, ATVO. Do a very good job. So Matt Wood now, 3.5 seconds only the gap. Surely he's going to be thinking about diving into the pits now. If he doesn't, then he is committed to that one stop, and he is, and he's going to hope that he's still got some life left in the tyres. Bartosic, though, will feel like this race for the victory is very much back on again. And you know what?
I got bad news, Barry.
It's off.
No, Dylan Roberts is having connection issues from 5th position.
He was in 4th.
4th position, you're right, because of course the pit stop started. So yeah, he's dropping down the timing streak, and he looks like he's done. John Pat Kelly has rejoined the race 3 laps down. But Dylan Roberts, unfortunately, he might be day done.
You know what? That is a gut wrench for him, because he's been driving so well in that Renfo, and ultimately that is one which I'm pretty sure he would want back and unfairly rob. Driver it does help though is this one, Jorge Martinez, who did a 130.8 over that last lap, 130.7 the best for Martinez, so he's definitely doing enough then on those yellow walled mediums to go through. As into the pits comes Stefan Schweiger to make a stop, and in the 26 as well, was making some great progress, was up 8 places before making that stop from 20th to 12th.
Doing very, very nicely, isn't he? Just making positions up, taking his time, not pushing overly hard, which I think some of the drivers are actually starting to overdrive the cars a little bit. I think that's what we're seeing with a few of these guys out there. Adam Gleeson, probably one that was overdriving the car. Last lap by was about 3.5 seconds off the pace. So really struggling, and I think he's decided, yeah, these tyres have hit a cliff. And he's bringing it in. Tell you what, I was actually a little nervous there watching Gleeson come in. I thought he was running a little bit too hot into that shortened final corner. I thought he was going to hit the wall, but he didn't, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully indeed. So that's what happens when you run those tyres pretty much down to the carcasses. Adam Gleeson's going to have a very, very long 21 laps. It'll get easier from here, as Adam Webb does have a little bit of damage on the front wing. He might get that changed, but ultimately off and away goes Adam Gleeson, and crucially is out behind Dennis Branch. So that is an undercut, worked on the medium compound tyres. These are going to be a crucial couple laps here for Adam Gleeson.
The big advantage Gleeson's got, obviously, is that he's on soft compound tyres for the next stint. Big disadvantage is, with 5 laps to go, he's going to have to try and bring the tyres home and make them last 5 laps longer than he did in the first stint. And he'll have Dennis Branch with him, you would think, on the medium tyres, which will actually last the distance. This is going to be a very, very interesting fight between these two. This has made this race extra spicy.
And what will also make it spicy is the fact that the car in front of Hiroyuki Sakaguchi hasn't come in to the pits yet. Into the pits comes the race leader, Matt Wood, followed by Bartosic. No surprises there. Those two are always going to come in at the halfway stage, split it 50-50 as they go in. Late line marker as well, 60 kilometers an hour down the lane you go. And this will be definitely worth keeping in mind. Adam Webb has stayed out then and will take some laps in the lead. How many, I do not know. Renato Augusto also diving into the pits along with Klaus Siemet. And crucially, Branch and Gleeson and co, they're only just now as Sakaguchi pits coming around the final corner. So that is what's in the mind. Matt Wood is already off and away. Bartosic following in pursuit. And ultimately, they will come out ahead of this battle for the podium.
Yep, so Wood, Bartosic maintain their positions.
Oh, no!
No, that's not what we wanted to see. Gleeson and Branch around.
Both of them around, and that will absolutely hurt in terms of that, and they have wasted all the time. And look at who that's brought back into play. It's brought 2 drivers, Cat, who's yet to pit, and Martinez, who has.
And Martinez will be absolutely loving this. This is exactly what he needed to get himself back into some sort of position after that incident earlier on. And remember, Augusto also was involved in that incident. He's behind these guys, so Augusto losing ground with that damage to the rear wing, not able to make that back from the pit stops. Still no rear wing on his car either, so he's going to struggle the whole way home. But this battle now between Gleeson, Branch and Martinez is well and truly on. This is for effective 3rd position.
Or is it now? Because remember, Adam Webb is yet to pit. I think Adam Webb will jump all of them.
Here we go, we'll find out in a second. I'll tell you what, I say this every week. Adam Webb's yellow wheels confuse me every time because I keep thinking he's on medium tyres.
Well, you've got to take it up with the team and not with me, because I can't do anything. I don't know Adam Webb personally. So at least for the moment, you can see DRS wide open for the TQ Engineering car against Dennis Branch on the brakes into Vidal. It is done and dusted. Good move. Now it will be up to Jorge Martinez to pick off this next one. And the key is that the soft will be really good for 10 laps. Then they'll be bad compared to those mediums. And the front wing, that's the key here. The front wing got changed. That's why Adam Webb's behind.
Yeah. Cost him a couple of seconds, or what, 5 seconds longer.
5 of them.
Yeah, so he's actually dropped behind Ronaldo Augusto, unfortunately. 5 seconds would have put him just ahead of Anthony Catt, so not too far away from this group. He'll be scratching his head wondering if he should have done that.
You know what? I think he shouldn't have. You know, that damage wasn't really too much. It was just a small nick on the front. But when you know that you got damage and someone says you got damage on the front, maybe a spotter or something like that, you know, you look at it in terms of the situation here, Jay, and, you know, you don't know how much damage you've got from that cockpit.
Well, yeah, and you can also play with your mind a little bit too, knowing that you've got damage. You can, you know, almost force you into thinking your car's worse than it really is. So Yeah, I mean, maybe for his own benefit, he might have thought too that, you know, if I do it now, then I know I'm okay. The advantage he's got too, he made the soft tyres last 20 laps, so he should be okay pace-wise for the next 20 laps. And the two cars ahead of him, or sorry, a couple of cars ahead of him, that being Branch and Martinez, both on mediums. Anthony Cut, Ronaldo Augusto, not too far ahead of him as well. They're on medium and soft, respectively, as in comes Anthony Cat, so that's positional gain that you'll get from that. Of course, Augusto struggling for pace a little bit with no rear wing, so he might be able to gain that position quickly.
Martinez.
Webb's still not out of it.
Here comes Martinez down the inside of Dennis Branch, gives him all the space in the world at turn 1, and finally dispatches of that overtake. Took a couple laps for Jorge Martinez. That's the reason why Adam Gleason's now 2 seconds down the road, but crucially, 2 seconds down the road right now. We know how Gleason absolutely, I would say, as a bit of British slang, murked his tyres.
It's going to struggle by the end of this, I would think, Marquez. Remember, he pitted, what, on that 10, 12?
Oh dear, there's a big one.
Oh no.
It's anti-Zerpa again, and it was a huge hit. And this was coming into Ravenel with Liam Sheen, and Sheen
That's big damage.
gets 2 hits and finds the barriers.
Yeah, you could see the front wheel for Sheen was not connected to the ground properly. It is on the VRS replay. Oh.
Heavy hit, and yeah, there's not much more you can say about that one, except ow, and it's not the first time we've seen it today from Zerpa.
Yeah, unfortunate for Liam Sheen to end up out of the race from that, so he'll have to look forward to next week, but unfortunate for him. See the DRS wide open for Dennis Branch as he starts to try and close back in on Jorge Martinez.
Close back in, but it's very much keeping it in stasis at this moment in time. I do want to point out, 10th position right now, Anton Skirachenko, yet to make his stop, but up 13 places, if not more now, 14 places.
And obviously on the medium, so he's going to run that medium soft strategy. I think he's going to stretch us out as far as he can. Tell you what, if he can get it out towards lap 30, he's going to find himself in a really good position. But his pace actually isn't horrible as well, as I just also noticed too. He said that Adam Webb was not out of it, considering where he was in the field, how far he was behind Augusto. First race lap in the 1 minute 29s there for Adam Webb, fastest lap of the race.
And that is what Adam Webb has been threatening over the course of this season. Just some really quick laps. He was 7/10 quicker than Reynaldo Augusto. He was a full second quicker than Dennis Branch, 1.6. So it really is showing at this moment in time where the pace is. The difference makers right now is that you've also got the battle on for the race lead. That gap is 3.3 seconds. Thomas Bartosic here, pitted on the same lap as Matt Wood. Going to give him a race here towards the end, and mark my words about it, Wood's got to drive perfectly, and he didn't do that in the first stint.
Definitely didn't. He was making a few mistakes. We saw that the half spin right through this corner here cost him around about 3.5 seconds. Not driving perfectly at the moment, although Bartosic is not as quick.
We've had a retirement here, Jay, and it's Anish Mehta. Stationary, and it looks like Anish here has just had a horrible day and effectively pulled it off the side of the road and said, I ain't gonna get much better than what I'm doing.
Interesting spot to just park the car though, wasn't it? It was a rather unusual spot, as I just see Shevchenko just
Yoja
lost a little bit of place. Yeah,
no, he gained his pace, but at the expense of hitting Skirachenko.
Oh no.
Wasn't once, it was twice. Skirachenko, I think, also lost the place to Philip Yates as well. There's the hit in slow-mo. There's the first one as he goes around. Oops. There's the second hit.
Seen a lot of I would say clumsy mistakes today. We've seen a lot of incidents that we really shouldn't see from this level of drivers. So it's unfortunate that we've seen that. But as you said before, we do have a very, very big spread from top to bottom in this race, considering we've only got one split today. But even still, everyone has to be an A-class licensed driver. So everyone's got enough experience. They should be able to get around the circuit a little bit better than they have.
Yeah, Renato Augusto, rear wingless, I would say at this point in time, has eyes set on Dennis Branch. This is the battle going on for 5th place in this race right now. And I tell you what, this is going to be all about now, how do you make that move? Of course, the tyre advantage is there with Renato Augusto. Took 6/10 out of Branch that last time by. Webb struggled with a bit of traffic, so couldn't close down that gap behind them. But really, you'd say at this point, at least, it is all down to can Renato Augusto close? Well, he'll definitely start closing down if Dennis Branch starts clipping the grass coming out of the Schumacher S.
Lucky too that spot is where you clip the grass, hasn't got too much wheel work happening, because if you did, find yourself very, very easily facing the wrong direction by looping the car around. Augusto's doing a good job of catching it. Also catching too, don't forget, Adam Webb's not that far away from these guys too, so Webb is starting to close in at this front battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. Sorry, 5th, 6th and 7th. Augusto up the inside, no rear wing, makes it work.
Move done, just like that. Easy pickings to get that move, and imagine being a driver who gets overtaken by someone who doesn't have a rear wing. That would definitely hurt in terms of an ego hit, so to speak. So not quite the most ideal situation in the world, but a situation nevertheless that has to be done. I'm keeping my eye out here on the Matt Wood Bartosic battle. The gap at one stage was under 3 seconds over the line. Now it's out to 3.6, which tells me something, and that was that Bartosic struggled a bit with traffic coming off of the exit of turn number 1.
Yeah, Bartosic was gaining in regards to actual pace, but as you said, traffic's hindering his move forward. It's back now to 3.3 seconds, so that the gap between first and second is fluctuating a lot right now. We continue to watch here. Adam Webb is right behind Dennis Branch, although Branch was close enough to get the DRS for now from Ronaldo Augusto, but in saying that, that gap is still at around about a second. I don't think that DRS will be around for too much longer.
I certainly agree on that point, as they look to continue on forward here. Adam Webb will definitely want to get through now, otherwise he won't get the chance to, and that's what he's certainly hoping on. I can make that move, DRS is wide open, considering a little look to the inside, but Dennis Branch had it covered. He's gone very deep through the corner though, and he's got to be careful about doing that too much, as he'll compromise his run through turn 2, but swings and roundabouts, often the name of the game. Dirty air effect certainly mitigates any of that.
Yeah, exactly right. Dirty air does play such a huge factor in these cars, so we'll see how long it takes for Webb to get through. The DRS will definitely help now. Gap between Branch and Augusto out to 1.3 seconds, so no DRS incoming for Branch. Adam Webb should get this done, but you never ever know before we see this potential overtake too. Bartosic is now out to a 4-second disadvantage to Matt Wood. Again, traffic playing a factor for Thomas Bartosic.
I've also noticed in this race, Rennie Knockfull has come out of the pits at least 4 times that I've looked, so it's not been a good day there either at this point in time. 15 drivers currently on the leading lap as things stand, so there is definitely a lot of work being done, at least for this moment in time, but I'm pretty sure everyone at this stage is trying to think about the end of the race. Another great run by Adam Webb. Needs a good final corner here off of the exit, and he can go and put that power down, use the DRS, which is an aid. It should get you alongside, not past. That's the emphasis of good DRS, but to the outside, trying to get this move done. This is going to be tough, but ultimately stuck on the outside. not going to find the move right now through the Mercedes-Benz arena.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get far enough up before the braking zone. Good job from Branch to also defend that inside line, which forced Adam Webb probably to get on the brakes a little bit earlier than he would have liked, because he almost saw that line he took was like a crossover move, wasn't it? He just couldn't quite get the momentum though to get it done. He's going to have another go, probably into the chicane is his best chance, because of course there's no a second activation point should mean that Webb might have that second run. I was nervous there. I thought Webb was going to throw it up the inside at the hairpin, but he decided better of it. And what that did do meant that Branch was able to get a better run out of the hairpin. Meant that Webb is not close enough at this stage to potentially get this done.
Not close enough just yet, but there is still time on the horizon to do so. We're on lap 28 of 40 now. Lap 29 is our race leader, Matt Wood, who is now out to still a 3.6 second margin. Lost a couple tenths of a second dealing with Jason McPherson out there. Yoja, by the way, is out, and that's important there for Yuri's race. Had a very, very good run, but of course, after that hit, clearly had terminal suspension damage, and as such, out of the event.
Branch defending again up the inside, but no move for Adam Webb. He's just can't quite.
I disagree.
I can't quite get this done.
Well, got to be careful. That's Liam Sheen on the exit, letting every man and his dog through, and every other person on top of that as well. And now you're seeing here Adam Webb fall into what I like to call the pitfall of this Nurburgring circuit. You can't get by. It's a long race.
Yeah, it is a tough track to pass on in these. Just that every straight feels like it's 50 metres too short here to actually get the move done that you want to get. So he's hoping that he can get this move done, but he's now back to 0.8 of a second back. And he's going to have to work hard to close that gap back down again. You can see on the dash there, the last lap, 1:31.06. Exactly the same lap time as Dennis Branch that last lap. So these two absolutely matched lap for lap on pace at the moment, and DRS closing that gap back down to 0.6 of a second, but not enough. I'll say another gap that is starting to close a little bit is this one.
Yes.
Marquez and Gleason is now down to under 2 seconds.
1.8 the margin as things look, and that one could definitely close, as is Anthony Cat, by the way, against Philip Yates in the final spot in the top 10. That gap is now from 1.1 seconds down to next to nothing, but at least for the moment, that is going to be a focus that we keep our eyes on, at least for the time being, as Adam Webb again can't quite get there, can't quite unlock it, and it is once more a game of patience. Now, off the road, in the virtual racing score replay, he's having a really good game of things. Stefan Schweiger, and this hurts.
Yeah, he was doing a really good job, wasn't he? He's moving his way forward. I think he was in 12th position at the time this happened. That's a failure of some sort. Go straight ahead there. That just doesn't make sense. So it has to be a failure.
Can I get a look on that on board? Because
yes.
I am not officially sold on that in terms of it's a failure, because I think you need to have a little look at the wheelwork to see whether it was or not. And just going through the right, so he's setting up then for this next section, and he's turned it, but he's got himself on the anti-cut curb, and it's just not gone. Sorry, not even the anti-cut curb, he's got himself on the high curb there, and once the car is up in the air and hasn't turned, that's it, it's gone. There's no way you're going to get that back.
Such a strange incident, though. Just
agreed.
Didn't seem natural at all, so unfortunate, but here we go. Webb up inside.
Oh. Look at how it's slow at the junction, and off the road goes Dennis Branch. He spins it around as well. Siemens is going to pick one up, and now it's going to be a case of get to the inside as soon as you can. The lap down, Skirichenko moves on through as well. And that is not the way it wanted to be, as we catch up on the virtual racing score replay, how this one happened. So it was always going to be crowded there on the brakes. Adam Webb came in from a mile away. It's just a case where, you know, he just couldn't slow it down. And then suddenly you get that transfer of grip from gravel over to asphalt there for the GSAM Strecker layout. And that's why it goes around.
Oh, branch off again. Gone straight ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, and that's at the Dunlop hairpin as well. It's the worst place. Does he have a brakes issue?
Got something not right, doesn't he? Because like, he outbroke himself at the chicane, outbroke himself at the hairpin. You could be right. Could be something in regards to braking. We'll hopefully find out soon enough. Hopefully not in a way that he ends up in the wall, but we'll
hopefully not in a way that ends up him shelling out a lot of money. It might be a load cell or something like that, which is not playing ball. So for Dennis Branch, now that's really put him in a bit of trouble because he's with Hiroyuki Sekaguchi now.
Sekaguchi's had a very quiet race as well, hasn't he? He's been one of our more consistent drivers throughout the season so far. Early bird for him as well. Hello, early bird.
Well, anime girl on the wing, on
Trust
the rear
you
wing.
to notice that.
Yeah, trust me to notice that. Of course, I'm looking out for it.
Sekaguchi currently in 9th position. Been with us, I think, every week so far this season as well, which is good to see. Looks like he's the only one of our Japanese drivers to get up early this morning, though.
Yes, that is very true. I can't even tell you what anime that is. I haven't watched it. It even could be a manga. But either way, Tokyo Olympics are going on, so I'm being respectful of the culture. At least for the time being, though, in this race, I'm keeping an eye on Adam Gleeson. He is responding magnificently to Jorge Martinez at this stage on lap 32. Those times are even. The gap is 2 seconds. But the key here for Martinez is he's got the advantage. He's got those yellow wall tyres as Augusto's only 2.8 seconds back. They've got to go off at some point for Adam Gleeson, and that's what Martinez is banking on. You saw how early Adam Gleeson came to stop.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that Martinez knows that he's going to have an advantage at some point, but yeah, when is that point? We're sort of thinking maybe with Gleeson stop, it might be the final 4 or 5 laps that might be the point. So if Martinez can keep himself within, I'd say, 2 seconds with 4 to go, that means that it's game on, half a second a lap, and probably by the end, Gleeson will be to a 1 second deficit. We'll see how it plays out, but if this 2 second advantage continues in the favour of Gleeson, I think Martinez is well and truly in there for a recovery podium, which half an hour we would have thought was nigh on impossible when we saw him without a front wing. To come back and potentially steal a podium would be an incredible result.
I'm keeping an eye as well on Anthony Catt versus Philip Yates here for the top 10. And it's one that I'm definitely interested in because Anthony Catt has gone medium here today, and I don't think that was the strategy that's going to win you this one outright, because you can see if Catt went to the soft, he'd able to be having the same grip that Philip Yates has. The whole reality of this situation right now is that no, not getting any grip, not getting anything out of the corners, has all the pace in the world on fresher tyres, but Yates is equal.
Yeah, you're right. For now, at the moment, they're equal at least, but maybe in the next 3 laps that changes once Yates has his tyres fall off a cliff, potentially. Yates, 13-lap old tyres. I think the option of taking mediums at the pit stop for Catt was probably the wrong call. I mean, he went 23 laps in his first stint, so he only had to do the 17-odd laps on the softs, which we've seen 17 seems to be okay, was when they were getting into the 18-19 was about the limit. Although we also don't know the personal characteristics. Every driver is so individual in how they drive the cars that some just feel that they're more comfortable on mediums. Some feel like they've only got grip on softs, and that's what we've seen drivers go soft, 2 stop versus 1 stop, and that's one of the things I've really enjoyed since we started covering this series now 18 months ago, is there's so many different possibilities for tyre strategy. It's so open, makes it so entertaining.
Definitely does. Anthony Catt is right there still, going through the Mercedes-Benz Arena, but again, washing out through the exit of the corner, and suddenly that gap's at 4 car lengths again, and you're never going to get through on 4 car lengths. That just is how much it is hurting right now to go out there and race. 5th time I have seen Rene Knopfel come down in and make a stop. So this has really been a horrible day for Rene in the 28. 3 laps down.
He might just be coming in to get another set of tyres and make sure he stays ahead of other people. Up, down, tyres, go again.
Yeah, why not? More tyres, more fun.
Yeah.
5-stop strategy. Go to the Max Del Orco school of pit stop strategy.
You know what the thing is though, at the moment, he's the car 28, so the lowest I rating in the field. He will actually gain I rating in his current position of 22nd.
True. You're not wrong there.
Literally got nothing to lose by coming in and getting some tyres and feeling comfortable with the car.
Has anybody told him that he can't get a bonus point for fastest lap?
Probably not enough pace in his car to get that, because just seeing Matt Wood has set the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, 129.6. Thomas Bartosic actually went faster on the previous lap. Sorry, no, that's a second off. I can't read. I just looked at the last 3 numbers and saw that it was quicker, but it's a full second slower. Just ignore me.
You never cease to amaze, Jay.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, well, car off in the wall, and you've seen it. It's Jay Friels. We had a little look at this, and that's not worked very well. Going through that was off the racing line, coming into the Dunlop hairpin, and then just carried a bit too much speed, and then ultimately has nestled it into the barriers there on the outside. It is so painful going off the road there, because it's almost like you know you can get it back on, but you've got to trundle to get back.
It's a bit like Siberia at Phillip Island, isn't it? You go off the circuit, you just keep going, and it just feels like it's forever, and continues on. More and more runoff at the exit of the corner, so very, very painful section of track. But every track's got one of those sections, doesn't it, where you go off the circuit, you just feel like it just keeps going, you've got forever to get back on. It's probably the worst place to go off at this track, other than putting it in the fence somewhere. But if you're just running off the track, it's definitely one of the worst spots.
I mean, on a Herman Tilke design track, isn't that every corner?
Well, on a Herman Tilke design track, you'd be just on normal runoff and you'd be going very quickly.
Yep, I'd certainly agree with that, but at least for the moment, there is Jorge Martinez, who is, I would say, stuck with Adam Gleeson. We're on lap 36, and those tyres do not look like they have hit that cliff. Once again, they look very, very calm. They look very resolute behind the wheel. Adam Gleeson has sorted out whatever issues there were in the opening stint with heavy fuel.
I'm just also seeing a move just happen just there, which is Roberts getting past Hoffman. Happened at the exit of the chicane. It's not a usual spot that you see an overtake.
No, I agree with you. They were side by side as there was Catal, who was putting a lap down, but Power on the exit. That just looks like a little bit of the back end stepping out there from the, I would say, fluorescent yellow livery in comparison to the Renfo that is out there on the circuit. So ultimately a good move, and Dylan Roberts can save a little bit more I-rating and safety rating by that. There is Thomas Bartosic in second position, 6.4. Matt Woods just walked away in that second stint.
Yeah, he's been quicker almost every lap, whether it's been a tenth or a second, it's been just quicker almost every lap. The laps that Bartosic has been quicker have been purely by Matt Wood being held up by traffic. So Matt Wood has driven a brilliant race at this stage. 3 laps to bring it home from here.
3 laps to bring it home. Easy as pie for Matt Wood, who has done this time and again here on broadcast and has shown exactly why he is top dog in this series at this moment in time. Adam Gleeson's got a bit of a problem though, and it's in the form of those 3 we were just looking at before. He's got to lap all of them. That's going to be difficult.
And he's got to lap all of them knowing that Martinez is not that far away. This is a little bit of a nervous moment here for Gleeson to get through and try and keep Marquez behind at the same time. The advantage he had there was he got DRS, but Marquez is now down to just on 1.5 seconds or so. So this gap is definitely closing. Maybe we've reached that point. Traffic added in as well. We said 3 laps to go. If it was within 2 seconds, it was on. We're there.
It's on. And Adam Gleeson, who is struggling a little bit to get through because of the fact that, you know, that dirty air effect scrubs tyres more. Now he's got 2 cars in between, and Marquez has got to get by both of them and get by both of them quickly. He's going to let one go here. David Huffman is going to allow Marquez one, and I'm pretty sure on the exit, Carlos Catao is probably going to leave the other one at this point in time. And there you go. There you have it. So ultimately that's good. Cat still stuck behind Philip Yates, by the way. That's another one that's going on as they both lock up into turn number 1. This is very much a case of, yeah, it's not really going to change in the last 3 laps. It's been like this for 10 laps.
Battle that may change though. Sekaguchi closing in on Dennis Bramps. That gap is closing at a big enough rate that Sekaguchi will be there with 1 lap to go.
And here's the key with Sekaguchi. Soft versus medium. Sekaguchi's unlocking the soft, whereas the medium, because it's so cold right now and it's only getting colder here, I don't think they're hitting an operating window.
That could be a very, very big possibility. We've seen the medium not work as well as we have at other tracks, and you could be onto something there. As you said, the track is cooling. It's down to only 19 degrees now. We were starting off around about 22, 23 degree bracket. Of course, we're racing in the evening and sunset conditions now. It's 8:45 in sim time.
Late.
Bedtime.
Normally, especially here at this track, you'd say that's past your bedtime. We don't race that at the curfew very often. The only time we do is when there's a 24-hour race. You can hear it all around the villages there of car upon car going around when the 24-hour comes into play, and especially as well the VLN races around this place. So you'd say this is very much steeped in racing folklore and history, and sim racing folklore and history you can put on top of that as well.
100% correct. And I've just noticed something. Remember we said that Adam Webb was closing in on the Augusto. The Augusto's just been absolutely held up with traffic, and now it's on.
It is, and you can look in front. There is still more traffic to deal with here. Adam Webb closing, using the DRS there on that little run from Ad Van Bogen up to the Vidal chicane. Can't quite get enough, and this is the key. On exits, if you're good enough on the exits around the Nurburgring, you do not need to worry. Both will get DRS. Well, you would get DRS if you were there and you actually had a rear wing to play with, but here comes the move on the brakes. Down the inside, it was a half-hearted effort from Adam Webb. He'll have to go around the outside here on the final lap. He wants to get it done, trying to find the move. He's not going to quite get there just yet, so he's going to have to try and play the game properly to make it happen. The gap down to 1.5 seconds here between Marquez and Gleeson all of a sudden, so that one's still not over as Webb still tries to find a way through past the wingless car there in front of Reynaldo Augusto. It's just not happening right now. Run to the Dunlop curve, and is there going to be another look on the inside? Not yet. Out of Vidal though, rounding to the final corner. Matt Wood's masterclasses continue. Welcome to another victory on SimSpeed TV. Matt Wood gets the job done. Bartosic finishes second. Gleeson should, depending on this traffic, finish in third, but it is almost half a minute behind going through this final chicane. Marquez giving everything he could to try and get to fourth, but the mediums just did not play ball. And Adam Webb down the inside. Has he got it slowed? Well, this is all about run off the exit here. He's going to hard cover to the middle of the track, and this should be Webb getting a top 5 from the clutches of Reynaldo Augusto.
Good finish there for Adam Webb to steal that spot, literally steal it in the last gasp. A very, very good battle between those two guys. One more battle still ongoing. Anthony Catt still trying to make these mediums work, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get past Yates to steal that top 10.
No, Philip Yates has done a brilliant job. He is effectively done as good of a job as Adam Yates did today in the cycling over at the Fuji Speedway, but that is a story for another day. So Philip Yates out to the final corner. He will come along in just a moment, because that is a case of I was not close enough, potentially wrong call with the tyres.
Yep. Couldn't quite get enough heat into those tyres at the end, and Yates holds on to 10th, Pat in 11th, but what a race that was. That was a very, very fun race.
Wholeheartedly agree. So let's see what the results of that really fun race were, and it meant that Matt Wood picked up the W and did so in a time of 1 hour and 56 seconds. He managed to win by 6.7 over Thomas Bartosic there, with Adam Gleeson managing to pick up third place. Fourth would go to Jorge Martinez. Fourth, even that felt like a long shot after his issues losing the front wing, with Adam Webb in fifth and Ronaldo Augusto losing the rear wing after those two came together. Klaus Siemitz then gets seventh, with Dennis Branch in eighth. Hiroyuki Sekiguchi just staying behind there in ninth, the Japanese driver. And then it was Philip Yates who rounded out top 10. 11th would go to Anthony Catt, who found no way through on the medium call. Esteves and Oliveira up 10 places in that race, and the biggest mover and shaker in the field on top of that. Emilio Fernandez then was 13th, with Carlos Catao in 14th. Anton Skirichenko had a good run, got turned by Bioja, and as such only managed 15th, with Valentin Milanovici there in 16th position. Then it was Dylan Roberts who had the throughput 2 laps down, ultimately, with David Huffman, Jason McSparron, and Santi Zerpa, who made friends with a lot of people today, finishing off 20th. Then we're getting into some more dramas. John Pat Kelly 3 laps down. Same for Rene Knopfel, who made a million pit stops today. Liam Sheen as well didn't have the best of days. Nor did Jay Friels, 5 laps down. And then we hit the retirements fully. Stefan Schweiger, Yuri Bioja, Anish Mehta, Jake Broom, the first retirement from this race outright. But next week is where we focus, and it was the home of the 2020 Cycling World Championships. It is a wonderful track. It is Imola. It's probably one of my most favourite tracks to go out there and see sim racing and actual racing on top of that. And Jay, no better place than SimSpeed TV for it.
100%. Looking forward to next week. My apologies to everyone who thought that they were going to be watching Imola this week. I jumped the gun when I was creating the schedule, and thought that we were at Imola this week. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind two weeks in a row at Imola. But Nurburgring turned it on today, and next week it should be a very, very fun race. And it doesn't matter what car we go or what series we race at Imola. The racing is always incredible. It always puts on a fantastic show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a very, very good week of racing next week on SimSpeed.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that as well. The only place you can catch it is with us at SimSpeed TV. So if you haven't had the chance to already, like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by the team here. Massive thanks, of course, must go to the Virtual Racing School, who have helped sponsor all of the replays that we've had here today. Jay Kennedy on cameras and commentary, myself, Jake Sperry. Matt Wood has shone brightest again here today. Drove an almost flawless race, one small blip, but that's the one thing that those drivers around will have to hold on to. It will be a championship tightening right up, if not a championship lead for Matt Wood, as he will head to the second half of the season with everything still to prove in the back pocket. We'll see you at Imola for the next one. Emilia Romagna awaits.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! Who says is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?